Racism is the belief that one race is superior, or put another way, it's the belief that another race is inferior. In this presentation, I will show you that in Islam, the black race is the most inferior one. Hi, it's Debunking Islam here, and let's destroy the lie that Islam contains such a powerful anti-racist message that it ends racism. You'll now see exactly how racist Islam is. Please like, share, comment on this video, and also feel free to ask for any links. So our look into Islam's anti-black message begins with the most famous example of Islam's disrespect to black people. In this hadith, we learn that Muhammad had taken black people as slaves and that he calls black people raisin heads. By comparing a black person to a raisin is to mock, to be disrespectful, and to make a clear distinction between them and yourself. Making a derogatory statement based on skin color is racist. Incredibly, apologists claim this hadith is proof Islam is not racist. So let's find out the truth. So in Islam, it's a law that the leader must be obeyed to ensure unity and avoid disruption in the land. Every leader must be obeyed as long as they do not command what Allah has forbidden. So, in this hadith, when Muhammad says, obey your leader, even if he's black and has a head like a raisin, he's using a black slave as the worst example of a human he can think of to say that even if your ruler is the lowest of humanity, you must still obey him, to emphasize the importance of following your leader. Don't take my word for it. A scholar explains that the hadith uses an example of something exaggerated to emphasize the importance of obeyment. Ibn Hajar says the statement raisin head is a metaphor for the person's ugliness, insignificance, and the lack of respect people have for him. But Muslims must still obey even him. And here is a sheikh also saying exactly what I just said. It's important to obey the ruler, even if he's not an Arab, even if he's ugly, even if he's deformed, and even if he's black. And this hadith proves it isn't just slavery that makes the black slave so lowly. In Islam, a black person's value is half that of Arabs. In this hadith, Muhammad trades 2 of his black slaves for 1 Arab slave. Imam Malik says it's okay to exchange an Arab-speaking slave for 2 black slaves because one is superior in eloquence and knowledge. To emphasize the inequality, he says it's not permissible to sell 2 slaves for 1 slave if they are similar or equal. In this hadith, it says a woman has no knowledge with a direct reference to her skin color. It's an authentic hadith. The scholar commentating on that hadith basically says black people have limited knowledge due to limited brain capacity. Here is the opinion of one of Islam's greatest historians and social scientists. This is his view on black people. They are dumb animals and savages who cannot be considered human. So in Islam, being black means you are considered to have less intelligence, and to some Muslims, you're not even human. Muhammad sees a black lady and thinks this is a sign of a deadly epidemic. Muhammad relates her skin color to a bad omen and disease. This scholar agrees. Al-Sayuti quotes a scholar who says the mention of the woman's black skin color is linked to evil and misfortune. In this hadith, a man tells Muhammad he is black, ugly, and smelly, which means he has no prestige in this world. He asks Muhammad what he will get if he dies waging war against non-Muslims. After he is killed, Muhammad says, "May Allah make you white and beautiful." This scholar points out that in heaven you will be given what you were deprived of on earth. So to be black on earth is to be deprived of something. Beauty perhaps, intelligence perhaps. In this version of that hadith, the black man is turned white and made to smell nice. There is no doubt about the authenticity of this hadith. The scholars at Doha.net use the Sunnah Pearls commentary to show that this hadith is saying that being black is considered ugly and undesirable. Ibn Kathir quotes a hadith where a man gives his black slave a white female slave and tells him to make his children white. In Al-Qurtubi's tafsir for 2221, a companion of Muhammad said to a black slave girl that despite her blackness and ugliness, Allah mentioned her, so he married her. Imam Malik said a slave master can force his slave, his female slave, to marry who he wants, but he should not marry her, a beautiful slave, off to an ugly black slave unless he has a valid reason. Wow. Muhammad taught Muslims that marrying a believing black slave is better than marrying for beauty. His lesson is that marrying someone you find undesirable but religious is better than marrying someone beautiful but who isn't religious. Muhammad is literally saying being black is something undesirable and ugly. Now, the hadith is weak. However, it's still narrated by a chain of Muslims, so it has contextual and historical value. It helps us to understand the attitudes of Muslims towards blacks amongst the earliest and greatest generations of Islam. And weak doesn't mean made up. Being black is so unattractive and offensive in Islam that saying Muhammad was black could be punishable by death. Unlike blackness, Allah refers to whiteness as a virtue and a desirable physical trait. Allah specifically points out the white skin of his houris to highlight their beauty. Allah made women of heaven with all the good qualities, both inward and outward, including being fair of face. So having a dark face would be a bad quality. By only making the houris white and specifically highlighting their whiteness as being a major attribute of their beauty shows that Allah only thinks white skin is beautiful. Time and time again, Allah tries to excite Muslim men with the promise of beautiful girls who are very white. And the scholars agree, Allah can't stop saying how beautiful white skin is. He never ever says black skin is beautiful. And this is meant to be a message for everybody. Whiteness is such a virtue that the companions constantly highlight the whiteness of Muhammad's skin, clearly showing how desirable it is in Islam. And remember, Muhammad is perfect. There's lots of hadith like this. Being black is so unattractive and undesirable that in Islam there will be no black people in heaven. Allah will make everyone white, and people going to hell will be turned black if they're not black already. I repeat, there will be no black people in Islam's heaven. This hadith emphasizes how white the people in heaven will be. Their faces will be turned bright like the moon and the stars, and they will have very white wives. In Islam, humans descended from Adam. The white offspring of Adam come from his right side, which is the good side in Islam, and they go to heaven. The black offspring come from the left side, the devil side, and they go to hell. So in Islam, destiny appears to be linked to skin color. But don't worry, if you are black, you can still get into heaven. You'll just be made white before you do. Muhammad says the most hateful of Allah's creations is a black man. His color is obviously a part of what makes him hateful because Muhammad mentions his color along with other grotesque attributes. If his color wasn't linked to what makes him so despicable, it would not be mentioned. Muhammad says Satan looks like a black man and his heart is gross like a donkey. So Muhammad links the appearance of the most despicable entity that ever existed, Satan, with a black man. In the history of Al-Tabari, we read that Ham, the cursed son of Noah, so you'll need to know a bit about the Bible to understand this. So we read that Ham, the cursed son of Noah, is the father of the black race and Shem is the father of the white race. By descending from Noah's cursed son, this shows that being black is a curse from birth. We are then told Noah prays that his white descendants will enslave the black descendants of Ham. And so it is that Islam started the mass export of black people as slaves from Africa. It wasn't Christians, it was Muslims. Up to 112 million people were stolen. They were not captured in war. Muslims went to Africa to specifically take blacks to be used as property. It was the biggest and longest running slave trade of all time, and it was the most brutal one. All because Muhammad enslaved Africans and Allah allowed it. So in summary, in Islam, being black is seen as being ugly and inhuman. In Islam, being black is a curse which is lifted when they die, because Allah will then make them white. The divinely inspired texts I've just shown you are a big reason for why the rise of Islam led to the largest, most inhumane trade of black slaves that the world has ever seen, and it's why even today the Islamic world is the most anti-black culture on earth. This was Debunking Islam. Thank you for listening.